The Sweet Sound of Success show is brought to you by the Mentor Studio. The Mentor Studio is an exclusive mentoring and training program for social influencers, business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and startups, bringing personal development to the underserved around the world. And brought to you by Success Strategists. Simple strategies that work to develop your business with flow and ease using proven strategies and the right tactics. This is the Sweet Sound of Success with Sue Wilhite, Profit Attraction Master.
Katrina Sawa is known as the JumpStart Your Biz Coach because she helps entrepreneurs make more money doing what they love and fast. She is the creator of the JumpStart Your Marketing System, a tell it like it is speaker, 7 times international best-selling author with 11 books, including Love Yourself Successful, Jumpstart Your New Business Now, and Jumpstart Your fill in the blank Compilation Book Series. Katrina has a no-nonsense approach to showing entrepreneurs how to develop consistently profitable business, implementing proven marketing and business strategies. She's been featured on Oprah and Friends XMRadioNetwork, ABC, TheCW, and dozens of influential podcasts and radio shows. Katrina was awarded the National Collaborator of the Year Award by Public Speakers Association and a 2-time nominee for the Wise Woman Award by the National Association of Women Business Owners. Please welcome Katrina Sawa. Woo!
Hey, thanks, Sue. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for making time in your schedule to meet with me. I really, really appreciate it. I've admired your work for quite a while now, well over a year. I think I even met you before the pandemic happened.
I think so. I think we have, and it's just been a while. Yes.
Yeah. So for those of my viewers and listeners who haven't encountered my show before, the show is structured around Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. And that cycle actually has 16 different steps. We're not doing those. We're not doing all of them. We're only doing 5 of them. And the 5 that I like to have an entrepreneur's hero's journey around is, of course, the ordinary beginning, the call to action, what prompted Katrina to become an entrepreneur, the big hairy monsters that we as entrepreneurs get to play with, and all of us have some similar ones and some really interesting ones that are unique to us. And then there's a couple of sections that are really about myth busting or helping other entrepreneurs. The myth busting part is allies, guides, coaches, mentors, wind beneath the wings, Gandalfs, Dumbledores, Rons or Hermiones, whatever it is, because we don't do it by ourselves, and we can't do it by ourselves. We need people in our lives that can help us. So I love to call those out. And then finally, there's the journey home. And the journey home, Joseph Campbell talks about when the hero has had their adventures and they've answered the call to action and they've played with the big hairy monsters and they've done their epic journey, they come back and the people at home haven't done all of that. So they're a little bit of fish out of water. And how does the entrepreneur deal with that? There's sometimes, there's quite a wide range actually for entrepreneurs to deal with. And on various episodes, we've had everything from, hey, I was born into a family of entrepreneurs, it was no big deal. That's been my life, to I had no idea I was going to be an entrepreneur and everybody is looking at me funny now. So let's begin. Katrina, what was your ordinary beginning?
My ordinary beginning. Well, I chose the sales and marketing path, I guess. I was in a lot of different sales and marketing jobs throughout my career. Ever since I was 16, my first job was an ice cream scooper at Thrifty's, in case you remember. And I would sell people from 1 scoop to 2 or 1 to 3. So I was always doing the upsell from age 16.
You learned that skill early.
I did. And why wouldn't you want more ice cream, for God's sake? So it was so easy to learn the upsell with ice cream. And then I did it with clothes in a clothing store and in restaurants with alcohol and, appetizers. So, and then, when I graduated college, I was a bartender still. So my mom was very proud. And I didn't really want to get a job, a real job. I was very resistant. And then one of my girlfriends said, come work from the company I'm with. It's great. And you make a lot of money and da, 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 da. And it was Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And I know a lot of people get sucked into Enterprise after college and they work it like a dog. But I think I was making like $70,000 a year or something like that, which was really good in my early 20s. Right. And so that was hard to leave. But then I finally got into advertising sales. So I would sell newspaper advertising, knocking on doors, lots of commission in there. I had a base plus commission. And I remember the radio station was trying to steal me away from the newspaper, but they were only doing commission only. And I'm like, ooh, I don't think I can do commission only. I'm scared of commission only. I need a base. My fear stepped in, right? So I stayed at the newspaper. I didn't go to the radio. But isn't that funny that your own business is what? Commission only. So I went to the extreme and had my own business, and I've been doing it for 19 years in commission only. Right.
Yes. Well, sometimes what the universe gives us is this lovely fear that we then turn around 10 years or 20 years later and go, oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, that became my life.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't leave their job to start their own business because of that fear.
Exactly.
Or they think they have to replace their income. So if they're making $120,000 a year, they think, oh, I have to make $120,000 a year in my business before I can quit the job. That's not going to happen. It's an unrealistic expectation.
Extremely unlikely.
Right?
It's extremely unlikely.
Extremely unlikely, unless you duplicate yourself and literally clone yourself. So you have 2 people working the 2 things. So I like to school. I school people in a nice, loving way, mind you. I'm all about tough love and the realistic expectations of what you might expect when you're trying to start your own business. And although I want people to think big and price themselves right and go for bigger goals, but I'm also a realist. Yeah.
Right. So what was the call to action that broke you out of the baseline salary?
Well, my last job, so I went from advertising to one of my advertisers. I was a marketing director at a retirement community, and the administrator there, my boss, I've come to find out was not the most honest person, right? And my opinion, but he would say one thing and do the other. And we were very much overworked. We needed another person in our office. We had a really big community. And I finally it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was finally, I said, enough. And it was basically him that led me into entrepreneurship. I was so tired of bosses that just didn't know how to manage
Yeah. Wow.
So
sometimes
not settling for a crappy work situation, which is what a lot of people do. And now I'm trying to help them. It's like, well, you're in a crappy job. Yeah, but it's the government, or it's whatever, or it's law enforcement. So I've got this pension for the rest of my life. So I have to stay here or whatever. And it's like, that's ridiculous. If you are completely unhappy, stop settling. And the grass is always greener. I promise you, you just don't know what you don't know.
Right. Exactly. Yes, you're speaking my language, Katrina. I'm a huge proponent of don't settle for crappy jobs, for crappy bosses, for crappy colleagues, for a crappy work environment.
Crappy clients, crappy husbands, crappy.
Yes, don't settle for crap. Just don't. It's not worth your
Life
health.
is too short. Life is way too short.
Yes.
You know? My husband got cancer at 42 years old. My second husband. He's fine now, but that was right when we got engaged, and he was like 42, I think, 47. I don't remember, but early on, too young, right? You don't think it's going to happen. So life's too short. You can't wait to have what you want now.
Right. Yeah. So besides the list of crappy things that we already went through, what were some of the big hairy monsters that you got to play with on your entrepreneurial path?
Let's see, my own stubbornness, my own ego, my own, oh yeah. It took me a good 8 years to get rid of some of that. And compare-itis, where I compare myself to other people. I was stuck in the doing and not being mode for a long time, until people woke me up and literally cried myself for a whole year trying to figure out the being. And what else? Oh, and during the time I was an entrepreneur, I got divorced from the husband who wasn't supportive of being an entrepreneur. But that's when I started my business, was when I was in that first marriage. And then I got a boyfriend who was a sheriff. And so he didn't really understand the world of entrepreneurial either. And I thought I was going to marry him. Thank God I didn't, because he wasn't aware. He wasn't awake, I would say, to what's possible. Finally found the perfect man for me, who I'm married to now. And so that whole dating process, my God, it has everything to do with your business, but it doesn't. It does.
Yes. 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 There should be a podcast about, or a class or something about relationships and business.
Yeah.
You can't separate them.
It's love and money. And that's what I've been talking about since 2009. Since I wrote the book, Love Yourself Successful, I discovered all this love side of my life stuff, right? And how my clients too were having problems doing the marketing because of the relationships or their self-doubt or whatever. So I started doing events called Love and Money Business Summit, Love and Money Live, because it's about getting more love in your life and money in your business. They have to go hand in hand.
Yep. Totally agree. Absolutely. And those are probably some of the biggest hairy monsters that they don't talk about with entrepreneurship. I mean, they talk about marketing, they talk about making offers and sales and attracting your clients and all that sort of thing. And they don't go, hey, by the way, take care of your home life. Because if you don't got that, you're going to burn. You're just going to burn right out. And that energy is going to come out in your business.
It's the energy. Yeah. And if you're not happy, I mean, I was in my first marriage 2 years too long. I would go out to a networking event and I'd be like, how are you, Katrina? Like, everything's great. But I would be faking it. Right. And then I would go, I was not happy, even though I would pretend to be happy, because I know I needed to do that in order to get clients. I can't just go out all depressed. Like no one's going to hire you when you're all depressed and, stuff. So
complaining and all that. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So besides your current husband, who seems to get you quite well, who are some of the other allies, coaches, mentors, guides, folks who helped you along the way?
I have had quite a gamut of mentors, and I've been in at least 8 or so masterminds. I've invested to the tune of about $250,000 over the last 15 years in the self-development and business development side of my life, and even the health side, because to have the energy and stamina, I had to hire a fitness trainer one time. I've had to do hormone testing and hire an alternative therapist. So like, you just got to hire people to help you. Right. I've had early on, thank God I ran into Allie Brown way back in 2005. she's like what I do now. And when I saw her, I was like, oh my God, that's what I do. Like, that's what I want to do. So it was really easy to follow her lead, and hired her for a couple of years. And that was way back when, thankfully, because she taught me the nuts and bolts of the doing stuff, right? And then I've worked with Lisa Sasevich on speaking, James Malinchak. I've worked with some real big players, and little rough around the edges, mind you. Not a lot of softies. I guess I like to pick people like myself where they just kind of like bulldoze it at me.
Right. But if that's what you need, then that's what you get.
Yeah.
And I hear this over and over as a theme in the interviews is successful entrepreneurs model successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And you just bite the bullet and pay for it, you know, and just invest in yourself to get the information that you need. Because once you do that, it's an investment that pays dividends for years and years and years and years and years and years.
Years and years. I mean, I've spent $250,000, but that's what I've been making for the last few years, every year. Right. Because of that, there's no way I can tell you with 100% surety that there is no way I would be making what I'm making, doing what I'm doing with as much freedom and flexibility in my life as I have now if I hadn't done all of those things.
Right.
Like, seriously.
Right.
So but people think they can just start a business and print a business card and say, okay, let's go, like, bring it on. But no, like, and then maybe put up a website if they're kind of techie, but the website is the hub of your business. And you need a techie team now to even do a lot of the funnels and landing pages and autoresponders and things that we have to do. Because to go and learn that is like, that's a squirrel over here. You can't learn everything. That is the most important stuff in your business, is your website and how you're taking people through your lead generation, your marketing, your follow-up, and your sales process. And so you got to have a team now. If you wanted to become a nurse, you wouldn't just walk into a hospital, start poking people with needles, right? You would go to nursing school. You would go to nursing school and you would pay $30,000 to $50,000 or whatever it costs to go to nursing school. And then of course you'd have to go get a job. Right. But like, if you wanted to be an attorney, you wouldn't just walk into a courtroom and try a case. The judge would throw you out, number one, but you'd probably lose, number two, because you don't have the training. So you need training for an entrepreneur, just like any other field. Yet people think it's easy peasy, and it's not, if you want to make a lot of money and help a lot of people.
Right. There was a famous quote, and I cringe because I forget who said it, but it was a long time ago. And a man who defends himself in court has a fool for an attorney.
Yes. Yeah.
Same thing. If you're not a web designer, don't be doing that.
No.
If you're not a graphics designer, stay away.
If you aren't graphics, please don't publish your own, like, design your own book cover. Oh my God, I've seen so many horrible book covers. Yes.
Oh, I was in the publishing industry for a lot of years. Don't edit your own book.
I know.
Please don't edit your own book.
It doesn't mean that your spouse should do it either.
Nor should your 15-year-old sister, however good grades she may have gotten in English.
I know.
Real story. Yeah, don't do it. Do what you're good at. Do your thing.
Yes.
And get other people to help you take that off of your plate so that you can do your thing better.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So that being said, you mentioned the gentleman that you were dating who just didn't get it about being an entrepreneur. Was there anybody else, or how did it land initially? I mean, obviously now you can point to your library of books and $250K every year. That tends to be a convincer for people. But when you started and when you were going, what was the reaction at the beginning?
Well, neither one of my parents are entrepreneurs. My dad has a PhD, and he was a professor in statistics, my least favorite subject. And then my mother she had a degree in interior design, but then she ended up in a bookkeeping company and her financial stuff, and then at the courthouse, the county courthouse.
Wow.
Farthest away from sales either one of them could ever be, like, literally. And they have no idea how I got this skill or appreciation for sales and marketing. Even my grandparents, again, PhDs and professors, and there's a lot of educated people. My uncle and his family, they were like the educated type, and they went that educated role. They could not understand me. It was so funny. And I'm like, yeah, you can laugh now, but I'm going to be making more money than you one day. Like, and now I am like, nah. Like,
makes it so worth it, right?
And I don't have to clock in and go to a job and do commute and to get there. And So people, honestly, it's not that they didn't want success for me, but they have their own fears. People have their own fears, and they project them on others. And there's the entrepreneurial mindset, and there's the employee mindset people in this world. That's it. And then there's, of course, the unemployed mindset, which we're not going to talk about. But then there's the employee mindset, and they just want to get a paycheck. They want that security of knowing that there's a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks or whatever, and they know how much they're making, so they can budget themselves out, so they know if they can take a vacation or not take a vacation or whatever. Then there's the entrepreneurs in us who are like, oh, I can just make more money. I can go make more sales. I can get more clients. If I want to do this, I just need to make more money. Like, it's that simple. There's no limit. There are some people that don't believe that yet, but we've got to work on them so they can believe that. Right?
Exactly.
If you want to get a new house and your mortgage is going to be $1,000 more, then go make $1,000 more a month. Set your goal higher.
Just
talk to more people, make more sales.
Right. You can't just change jobs it's like, oh, I need a new house. I need to change jobs and kind of move up the ladder. It's not the way it works. Plus, as we've discovered over the last year and a half, it is not a secure thing to have a paycheck.
Right. There's lots of layoffs in the last 18 months.
Lots of layoffs. I mean, there's a good deal of there's what do they call it? Underemployment in certain job brackets, but there's layoffs at other job brackets that are, one of my friends has been laid off 8 times.
Yeah.
It's not a secure thing, folks. Trust me.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
Yeah, it's time to just start your own thing. And so many people I know, because of COVID, they got used to working from home, even if they were working for a company. And now that the company wants them to work back, it's like, no, I want to work from home. So now they're getting all entitled, like, well, I have this job, but I want to work from home. Well, then start your own business, because you have a job and you need to go to work. Unless the job is going to let you work from home, which I'm all for, don't get me wrong. But then we're going to have a whole bunch of empty buildings around the planet, right? Like, we just need to demolish the buildings and put more plants up, and we can all work from home, and then it'll be nice.
Yes, exactly.
And we're getting too much in politics, because, this could get a little, we could get a little backlash. I really think, then you can private message me on Facebook.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a bonus question here, Katrina. Of all the things that you do, of everything that you can offer your clients, what would be the thing that if you got up in the morning and you knew you had a client on your docket that was going to do this thing, you were just be, yes, oh, goody.
So I love it when a client gets a new client at a higher rate. That's my favorite thing to hear. Now, it's not something I would do with them. It's not something I would experience with them, but I've pushed them along the way to get to that point, and or given them the tools and resources, or we've talked about how to do that, so that when they finally do it and they're super excited, they come to me. They don't necessarily, when you say, I got a client for $10,000 to your, person that has a job, they're like, what? They don't get you. So you have to talk to people who get you to celebrate these kinds of wins.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because you see people, or I see people in some entrepreneurial groups where you've got beginners in the group, and there'll be people that are at a different level that'll go, oh, I just up leveled, I just got my first $10,000 client, and they're all yay. And other people are going, oh my God, why is she posting about that? That's just so, oh, she's just, it's like, no, celebrate that with her or him, whoever. Don't be jealous or envious. It's like, well, really, that's an accomplishment, and you need to raise yourself up that far too.
It's those kinds of people that were bragging in the first early days of my business that I saw going, I want that. I want to do that. How can I do that? And that's how I got the confidence to raise my rates and keep developing new things. And it's being around people that boasted in a good way, not like bragged, but like told, like, yay, we celebrated that. Right. Mm-hmm. The other thing I like to look at with clients is when, because I teach them how to speak, but also get speaking gigs and how to use speaking to monetize and get clients and all that stuff. When I can see them on stage, whether it's virtual or in person, and they're doing their talk and they're just in the zone and they're killing it, whether they get a rush to the back of the room or not is, that's the next step. But I love to see them when they're in their element and they can really take the stage, because we all need to take the stage, whether it's the podcast stage, the radio stage, the Facebook Live stage, or, your own stage. You got to learn how to take the stage and own it.
Right. Take it on. So, Katrina, I hate to wrap it up, and we're getting up to our time. I know that you have a really cool offer for our viewers and listeners, and tell us more about that.
Well, I'm one of those people that has a lot of different things to offer, because I have the JumpStart Your Biz Kit. You can certainly go get that. But sometimes people know a lot about marketing and maybe they want to get started speaking. Maybe they want to write a book. Maybe they want to figure out what to do with their website. So I have a lot of different free trainings that I've done in the past that I teach on, and you can go listen to them. And they're all on my free trainings page. If you go to jumpstartyourbiznaw.com/free trainings and pick one or two or three. Sometimes people will sign up for 3 or 4 of them at the same time and then go listen in. And that's what you want, by the way. It's really good to have multiple freebies, different topics, because you never know what someone is going to come in and want from you. And they need to try you out before they're going to probably come to a call with you. So you got to let people try you out. So yeah.
And meet them where they are. Mm-hmm. So if you have something for the beginner newbie, or, moving up a level or moving up another level or trying something different, you got to meet them where they are.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Katrina, for being on my show. I really, really appreciate it. I love your story. That is so cool. You got the entrepreneur gene in there somewhere, or it activated in you somehow. and we are the better for it. Thank you. Glad it did. Glad it started with the ice cream.
Oh, me too. I ate too much of it though back then. Never again did I get, well, no, that's not true. I did get in the restaurant business, but it was very bad when I had to put the ice cream away. I won't tell you what I did.
I get it. I had to put ice cream away too. Sad.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to my viewers and listeners on the sweet sound of success.
your dreams for your business. You know what drives me crazy? Really smart business owners denying their talents because they've been taught it has to be hard, because they've been taught that they don't deserve their gifts, that they're not worth anything. They've been taught that their gender means they can't express their genius. I'm Sue Wilhite, and I want you to have access to your genius. I want you to go out and rock the world with your genius. So I created the Call to Action Coaching Program. It's all about getting to the heart of you and what you've got to share with the world to make a profitable business that thrives and allows you to make a difference in the world. Click the link to sign up for the Call to Action Coaching Program today. Don't let your genius go unnoticed.